Today in the Daily Dose, Dwight D. Eisenhower. Born in 1890 Denison, Texas, Dwight D. Eisenhower grew up in a poor family in Abilene, Kansas, before attending West Point despite his mother's pacifist objections. After marrying Mamie Geneva Doud in 1916, Eisenhower served as a military aide to General John J. Pershing during World War I, followed by General Douglas MacArthur in the Philippines from 1935 to 1939, until General George C. Marshall called him to Washington to spearhead the successful Allied invasion of North Africa during World War II, followed by the amphibious invasion of Sicily and the Italian mainland in 1943. In late 1943, Eisenhower was appointed Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force in Europe, where his astute leadership called for air supremacy over the German Luftwaffe, which then led to the June 6, 1944 D-Day invasion of 5 beaches in Normandy, France, when 150,000 Allied troops crossed the English Channel before fighting their way to the liberation of Paris on August 25, 1944, followed by VE Day on May 8, 1945. World War II ended after nuclear detonations over Hiroshima and Nagasaki, despite Eisenhower's adamant objection to the use of nuclear weapons on a Japanese nation clearly on the brink of surrender. Returning home to a hero's welcome, Eisenhower served a short stint as president of Columbia University until President Harry S. Truman tapped him out to command the newly formed North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, in 1950, intended to combat communist aggression abroad. Winning the White House with running mate Richard M. Nixon in 1953, Eisenhower's 2 terms in office witnessed numerous legislative victories, despite a Democratic majority in Congress, 6 out of his 8 years in office, leading to the creation of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, a strengthened Social Security Administration, and the passage of the National Interstate and Defense Highways Act of 1956, which led to the construction of 41,000 miles of interstate highways across the nation. He also signed an armistice ending the Korean War, while deciding against an airstrike to rescue French troops from imminent defeat at Dien Bien Phu, Vietnam, leaving office with a stern yet largely overlooked warning against an escalating military-industrial complex during the peak years of the Cold War. He passed away from congestive heart failure at Walter Reed Army Medical Center on March 28, 1969, ending the life of one of the most influential figures of the 20th century. And there you have it, Dwight D. Eisenhower, today on the Daily Dose. Get your nerd on with the Daily Dose. And if you enjoyed today's episode, share the link with a friend or colleague so that they too can learn something new every day.